buddy. How are you doing? Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate you coming on. How's it going?
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate the invite. This should be fun.
All right, so I think we're just gonna kind of loosely run through the draft here, talk some Jets. We don't really have honestly, we do not have a set plan today. Um, let's just start off. We've never talked, Ian, but why don't you give us your take on the number 2 overall pick? Where did you stand before? Are you kind of happy with how it played out? And then you could even kind of talk about the whole first round as a whole. Like, what was your take and how'd you feel about it all?
Yeah, dude, for sure. So, I mean, I definitely leaned Reese beforehand, but I don't really like to get caught up in the whole like war that it seems to, it seems to take place every single season, right? Like last year it was Warren and Membu. Season before that it was Olu and Bowers. And it's like, man, you're either all in or you hate the other guy. Like you have to pick a side. So, it's kind of funny, like thinking back, because literally in all 4 cases, all 4 of those players worked out. And I think it's going to be the same case here, where Bailey and Reese are both really, really good prospects. Reese obviously went 5th overall to the Giants. And then, it's kind of weird hearing John Harbaugh saying like, oh, I was surprised. He was our highest rated player on the board. I think if we would have went with Reese at 2, David Bailey was going to be a lock top 5 pick. So I don't think it's, catastrophic or any sort of, like, oh, the draft's ruined. No, David Bailey's a really good prospect, but I did lean Reese beforehand.
Yeah, I think both me and Joey did too. I was disappointed, like openly, like first when the pick came out, it sucked, dude. I was like all in on Reese. I love the plan to like play him at off-ball linebacker and move him to edge, but at the same time, dude, you bring up like a great point. David Bailey could have gone 3 to the Cardinals had we not taken him. Like, there's a reason Reese fell to 5. Like, his tape wasn't as good, I think, at the edge rusher position specifically. Like, his off-ball linebacker tape is nuts. Him and Sonny Styles, dude, they're going to be like stud off-ball linebackers. I don't know what he's going to be as an edge rusher. When he was going to be a Jet, I made the Micah Parsons comparison. But now that he's a Giant, I'm like, okay, they drafted an off-ball linebacker. There's going to be nothing else. That's it.
Yeah.
But I felt the same way, dude.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, like, as soon as Reese didn't go 2, I'm like, bro, like, if you're Arizona, you got to take him here. Then they go Jeremiah Love. I'm like, I don't really like bad teams with offensive line holes going with a running back. And then with the Titans at 4, this was one of my like big concerns. It's like Arvell's fit in a 4-3, like with Robert Sala's defense. Like, where do you play him? Like defensive end with his hand in the dirt? Like, that doesn't really feel like an Arvell Reese type of thing. But then you're not just going to strictly draft a linebacker, and they don't really blitz all that much. So, right. After after the Cardinals went Love, I'm like, dude, if he goes to the Giants, man. So I was streaming with my brother, and he's just like, bro, he could go to the Giants. I'm like, don't say that, man. Don't say that. But it ends up happening, and unfortunately, the Giants killed it. I felt like they had a really good draft.
Dude, we could never have like fun whenever we get. Actually, no. Okay, when we did Sauce Garrett, they did Kayvon and Evan Neal. So I guess we did have more fun that year. But they always seem to like splash when we splash, and it pisses me off. It's like, dude, go away. Like, let us have 3 firsts in peace here.
You made a good point too. Like, there was a lot of smoke leading up to the draft about someone trading up to 3 for Arvell if the Jets took Bailey at 2. So I guess silver lining was it made me feel a little bit better that Reese fell to 5, but God, I don't know.
That whole thing was weird, dude. Like, the beat reporters had Reese, and then the national media. It makes you like wonder if there's a leak or if they genuinely had all of us in a pretzel. Like, I was hearing that it was going to be Reese, like, openly, but again, I'm not a friggin' beat reporter. I'm not a national guy. Like, I'm just a fucking scumbag with a Twitter account. But I was hearing Reese, and they ended up, dude. I like always, the draft is a lose for that. First of all, never try to get into that because you always end up losing. And now, dude, now you can gamble on it. I had like a bazillion gambling Twitters in my DMs. Like, how confident are you? Like, are you really feeling this way? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, dude, we're good. I got a ton of money on it. Let's do it. And ended up just losing a bunch of people money probably, but it is what it is. But yeah, I just don't know. I saw like there was a narrative of like, oh, is it, Peter Schrager know the whole time? Like, did Rappaport know the whole time, and there was genuinely just a leak, or was that like a planned smoke? I have no idea how to read that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely felt like it was 50-50.
Yeah,
And when you're in these 50-50s, it's just like, oh, pick one, half
you got lucky.
50% chance of getting it right.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, dude, that you mentioned the leaks, because it's like there was so much buzz surrounding Omar Cooper and the Jets liking him.
Right.
I'm like, dude, like that's got to be I mean, there was mock draft after mock draft with him going 16th. So I'm like, you kind of figure like that was leaked out of the building. But then it's like I heard zero about Sadiq. Not one mock draft, not one draft insider saying like, oh, keep an eye on this, or the Jets really like him, or keep the top 16 lock or anything like that. So zero buzz with Sadiq, but there was a lot of smoke with Cooper. So I'm not too sure.
Yeah. How'd you feel on the Sadiq pick?
Dude, I liked it a lot. I thought it was gonna be Lemon, dude. So he was sitting there. I'm like, man, like I don't see how you can go in a different direction. And then they go, Goodell comes walking out. He says Sadiq. I'm like, cool. And my first kind of reaction to it was, if Frank Reich and the guys, they view Lemon and Sadiq as both slot players or primary slot players. Sadiq is way more athletic. Sadiq's taller. He's more explosive. And he's more flexible, right? Like you could really get creative with, you could line him up as a fullback. You could put him up, line him up as an inline tight end. Like you're not putting Lemon on the line of scrimmage as a someone to go out and chip. You know what I mean? So, I couldn't really, I didn't have anything negative to say about the pick. I was a big fan of the player coming out. But again, before, like, as Goodell's coming up, I'm like, dude, this guy's gonna say Lemon here. But he said Sadiq, and I'm honestly pleasantly surprised with it. I honestly do, like, looking at all these picks, I think Sadiq and Pons were my two favorites.
Yeah, I would agree. I know Tony and I weren't as high on Cooper. I'm happy to get him at 30. I'm curious to see what your take was on Cooper. Had they taken him at 16, what's your overall take on that pick at 30? And then if they were to take him at 16, that'd be too early for you?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, for me, it's kind of like with all the pre-draft smoke with Cooper, and, you're factoring in the trade up, it kind of, to me at least, like, I like to believe that the Jets got their guy, like they got the guy that they really feel good about. And we only had to give up a fifth. We didn't touch any of the 2027 draft capital, which is really good. And I feel like collectively as a fan base, like we've been searching for more bodies, like more. And I don't want to call Omar Cooper a sure thing, because we've drafted a ton of young wide receivers and they just don't work out. But man, like collectively, we've been like pounding on the table, like, can we please get some more help? So defensive coordinators aren't just keying in on Garrett every single week. And then you factor in the bad quarterback play and the bad coaching. It's been rough offensively. So I'm hoping that the combination between Sadiq and Cooper just really opens really just breathes life into the offense, opens things up for Garrett, and overall just adds creativity.
Dude, I think Sadiq was like a Reich guy. I was kind of shocked by that. I was like, in my head, I'm like, all right, Frank Reich's like kind of a dinosaur offensive coordinator. Like, he's not exactly of like the Sean McVay mold of, oh, we're going to move this, hyper athletic tight end all around the field, utilize him in a bunch of different ways. I didn't like expect them to make that move. And I especially didn't expect it to be Frank Reich calling the shot there. Why is he calling so many shots? I don't know. I'm cool with it. I mean, he's a very veteran offensive mind. Like, if he has a plan for the kid, that's fine. And if the staff doesn't work out, hypothetically, like God forbid, the new offensive coordinator is going to absolutely love having a guy like Kenyon Sadiq at tight end. So, like, overall, I'm pumped. And dude, it was such like a not Jets thing to do. Like, I feel like they finally didn't need the fucking tackle, so they just took the tight end. Like, it was finally time to just get the tight end one, dude. We passed on Bowers, passed on Warren. Sadiq is sitting there, and you're right, dude. There wasn't like any smoke about that. I think there was like one Rich Cimini article like 3 weeks before the draft, and I'm a weirdo. Like, I read every single thing that dude puts out because I feel like he's the godfather of the beat, dude. He knows what's going on sometimes. They didn't expect him to be there, I think. Like, the overarching sentiment was like, yeah, they like Sadiq, but they thought like he would go 13 to the Rams or something like that. So when he was there, like, yeah, I guess they nabbed him up, but that was like the only thing. So that's good in terms of leaks. And you're right, dude. Omar Cooper, bro, like, I'm honestly glad. Like, I would have rather had him at 30 and traded the 5th than taken him at 33 just because of how our second round receivers were.
Yeah.
It's like a curse.
Yeah,
just
dude.
take one in the fucking first. Like, and they
Bro,
finally have.
Yeah, not to cut you off here, but
You're good.
not even just wide receivers, like literally any position. Like you remember like Jason Morrow, Hackenberg, like all these second round picks. I mean, even third round picks too, for that matter. Like they just don't work out. Stephen Hill,
Elijah
Devin
Moore.
Smith,
Chad Hansen.
yeah, Elijah Moore, Corley, lots of guys, dude.
Dude, they can hit, and this is why I'm like cautious, okay? Because like me, like any of us three could have number 2, number 16, number 33, or whatever, and then and get like 3 starters, 4 starters, whatever it is. It's after that, and like the Cade Klubnik pick, honestly, like scared the shit out of me a little bit. I was watching, I'm like, I thought they traded up, and I was like, okay, if they take Garrett Nussmeier, like that's chill. I guess I'm cool with that. He's not like ideal. It's not an ideal like. I could just see him being like a QB2. He's smart. He's not like a big armed, like, big QB. If he was, he'd be like a second round prospect or, a first round prospect. But he's like a smaller guy, injury concerns. Had they ripped him, I would have been like, okay. Cade Klubnik, you essentially spent 2/4 on him. That one took me by surprise. I didn't have it leaked on my phone at all. Like, I genuinely was sitting on my couch like, they fucking took Klubnik. That's insane. I don't know. I was weirded out by the pick, but what was your reaction to that one?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I wasn't expecting it. When they moved up, I thought it was going to be for like a developmental center. Like Connor Liu was someone.
Lou would have been sick. We all wanted Lou.
Yeah. Or it was going to be Nuss. And so, the pick comes in, it's Cade Klubnik. And dude, I don't know if it was that day or if it was like the next couple days where the Jets released the call. And I think it was Frank Reich, and he was totally fired up. And so this is another Frank Reich decision.
Frank Reich, dude, he's pulling the strings.
Yeah, the head coach of the offense, right? Like dude, it seems like he has major say with this whole thing, which is cool because it's, I don't know, like last season's fit with Justin Fields was just weird. Because it's like, was he Ingstrand's guy? Was he Glenn's guy? Was it a Muji guy? He didn't fit the offense at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing was just totally strange. Because my assumption was that they were going to try to bring in a quarterback like Goff, not Goff, himself, but just like that archetype of player, pocket passer.
Yeah.
Then it's Justin Fields, who's like the exact opposite. And I'm like, okay, like I guess common sense would say like they're going to try to build the offense around like Fields running and stuff, and then they hit the season and they do the read options and stuff, but it's a lot of just pocket passing, asking Fields to drop back. So. This go around with Frank Reich and Musgrave, between those guys, that's like 50 plus years of experience working on, the offensive side of the football. So if they want something, I'm not going to push back as a fan. I'm just kind of, sitting back for the ride and just seeing what happens this season. If it doesn't go well, we got a bunch of new coaches coming in next year. But, dude, for me, I'm hoping for 7 wins. 7 wins minimum.
That sounds foreign, bro. It's insane.
I know, dude. We haven't been 500 in I don't even know how long. Over 10 years. I think it's literally over 10 years, which is insane. It's crazy.
We get in front of these cameras every week, and we're like, I really like this backup quarterback.
Yeah, like 2022 felt like a twilight zone when they had a winning record for 2 seconds.
But in like the first when they were like 7.
Yeah, the Wilson, they beat the Packers, all that crap, and we were on top of the world for 5 weeks there. But
bro, it's actually unbelievable. That was probably the best stretch of 7-4. Like, it's not like we were going to the Super Bowl. We were 7-4, and I was like talking shit like to everybody. When's the last time I talked shit to like anybody that was a fan of like an opposing team? It just doesn't happen. There's no ground to stand on. And it sucks because like if you put Rodgers on that team,
yep, we were 1 year off. That was
make the playoffs. Like, and that was the plan, dude. It was insane. I'll actually tell you a funny story about that fucking Rodgers, dude. I was like front row at that game, and he obviously comes off. I hear him crying in the tent, and I'm sitting next to Dante Hall. Remember that like Chiefs punt returner? He was the guy that like did the punt return. Those two guys like hit each other. The human joystick or Weapon X or something.
Yeah.
And bro, this guy's like in my ear. He's like, don't worry. It's like his shin. Like he hurt his calf or something. Like he's fine. He didn't tear his Achilles. And I'm like, Dante Hall, man. Like I don't know if you're hearing this, but like I think I hear Aaron Rodgers crying in the blue tent or something. Like he's bugging out in there. He was like, don't worry. And then it came out like 5 minutes later that he tore his Achilles, and they won the game.
Dude, that was one of the weirdest days ever because like it was a night game, home game, Buffalo Bills, and it's like we win in like crazy fashion, but Rodgers is done for the year. It's just like, what is this? And then, dude, another whole not to keep bringing up like for negative memories here and stuff like that, negative moments, but
Cade Klubnik really struck a chord with us.
Yeah. Bro, for a month we don't even work out a quarterback. It's like, no, it's Zach's team. It's like we don't even bring one into the facility to see what he has. The whole thing was just that whole season just feels like a blur, honestly. But that 7-win season where we had the couple wins, what was the final record? 7 do we lose out? We go from 7-4 to
yeah, they lost out.
We lost out. I don't think we went 8-8. We haven't been 500 in 10 years, dude.
There was a couple of games that were like, remember the Vikings game where Berrios dropped in the end zone. Like the whole Mike White part of that season was just what could have been, and yeah, it was horrible. Like,
not an NFL quarterback. Like
hell, he was for like 6 weeks.
Bro, in the locker room, they're wearing his fucking shirt. This guy who is out of league, he's technically in the Hall of Fame. His jersey or whatever, something in there. There's a Mike White piece of memorabilia in the Hall of Fame. But anyway, Cade Klubnik, what's your analysis?
Yeah, we really went on a ride there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's got to be a record for like. I mean, does Mike White hold the record for most passing yards in like his rookie or his first performance? He literally had over 400.
It was the Bengals,
which is insane. And then we move on from him after the season.
Was 460 something yards, I think, and he was a rookie, was he? I think he was just like a random schmuck.
He was like second year or third year.
Oh my god! And then now I'm thinking of every like weird quarterback we ever had, dude. I remember Tim Boyle, obviously, at the tailgate. His parents were like at our tailgate because I don't know why. They were just randomly there. And I was talking to them. They're like, yeah, Tim, he's really excited about this opportunity. This is the Miami Black Friday game, by the way. So like the Hail Mary happened.
Oh, yeah.
That dude. And, I'm like, yeah, he's a Connecticut guy. Like I'm from Connecticut. So I was like, I'm really rooting for him, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And this poor kid, dude, and these parents were probably like, oh my fucking God. Like, this is the worst thing I've ever watched in my life, dude. I can't. That was certainly a Black Friday, dude. That was not good. But
anyways, back to Cade Klubnik.
yeah. Honestly, dude, I like the pick, man. I mean, when it comes to day 3, when it comes to day 3, it's just like, if you're gonna A, draft someone in round 4, but B, trade up for someone in round 4, and you're gonna maybe pass on the bigger names, the more popular names, there's a reason for it. And again, if this was like a first-year OC, we didn't really know what to believe, or we didn't have anything to look off of, I think I would question it a lot more. But I'm not sitting here saying that Cade's going to be a franchise quarterback for the next 10 years, but I think the Jets probably internally got their guy that they feel like, hey, you know what? We prefer him over Taylon Green or Cole Payton and even Nussmeier too. And I'm surprised that he fell all the way to round 7, man. I don't know what went on there, but it's going to be interesting, man. I did not see another team drafting Cade that high, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. One thing that was really cool was how he said that he woke up that morning wanting to be a Jet. Like, I mean, I guess he could have just said that on the spot, but he seems like a really genuine guy and, a fun player to root for.
Dude, his 2024 tape is like pretty impressive. He was supposed to be a first round pick. He's like classic. Like, could he have gone out last year and he stayed his senior year?
Yeah.
Bro, why did he do that? My God. Like, bro, just go out. I don't know. In a weak quarterback draft class again, that was an interesting decision. But NIL is doing it to these kids, dude. Like Dante Moore, I have a feeling the same thing's going to happen. I think, I don't know. I think that was a really bad decision. But Cade Klubnik, bro, his 2024 tape was pretty nuts. If you like look at some of the throws he was making, it's like, this is an NFL quarterback for sure. And Clemson, absolutely fell apart last year. I think there was like some weird thing with like, they had a certain set of players for a certain scheme, but they were running like a different offense. Something weird was going on there with like the personnel and the coaching staff. And unfortunately, Cade Klubnik got absolutely screwed. So I don't know, dude. He's not like the classic like 6'4" huge arm guy, but he made some really impressive throws and he can layer the ball at the very least. Like I was watching him throw like over the middle of the field over some linebackers and some of them I was like, okay, you wanna know what? Again, like if he's QB2 for like 5 years, that's a huge hit, right? I'm not expecting anything crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's crazy to think about because I mean, dude, like literally, you go back, September, it's Cade Klubnik number 1 overall, like in all the mocks. Yeah. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and this season happened, but you kind of still feel like that player's in there, and not to have like that Jets homer take. Where we're starting to blame everybody else, but like Clemson had a bunch of injuries and they did fire their OC after the season and stuff like that. So,
what it was? Their OC got fired?
Yeah, Garrett Rice. Dude, fans hate, like they couldn't stand him. They had some injuries on the O-line. But really, dude, I mean, Peter Woods was kind of mocked in that same range, like top 5, top 10. He fell. TJ Parker, same thing. He goes in round 2. So they had a bunch of players. And I don't know, like, because I'll listen to college football podcasts and stuff, and I don't want to sit here and say like Dabo, Sweeney's in the hot seat, but
yeah,
I don't really know how much longer he's going to be the coach there for.
Yeah, so I can see him moving. Like it's like a mutual decision type of deal. He's going to get a sick job elsewhere. Like, any school is going to hire that guy, but I don't know. I feel like it's growing stale there. If that makes sense, like it might make sense to do something else. But yeah, that was rough. Great point on Peter Woods, dude. He went like 29 to the Chiefs, I think, right?
Yeah.
Damn,
dude. Even like Terrell slipped in the draft. He was in mid-second. Blake Miller went high, but yeah, there was a lot of expectations for Clemson this past season, and just it felt like collectively they just didn't live up to it.
Goes to show, dude. Like, if I'm an NIL player, I'm transferring to like a guaranteed top program, bro. Look at all the Indiana players. I mean, how many times has there been this many Indiana players? And we took 2 of them, like in 2 top 50 picks, right? I mean, Mendoza, Cooper. There were a bunch more, but like, I don't know. It just goes to show, like, I'd want to be attaching myself to a winner if I were there and not necessarily chasing money, dude. Because like Peter Woods probably got paid a shit ton of money last year, but cost himself like, I don't even know how much in a rookie contract. So it's interesting for sure. One thing that I am like extremely intrigued on while we're on the topics of quarterbacks is Brennan Sorsby. And like this whole narrative is super interesting because I was high on him, dude. Like I don't want to say I have a type, pause, but I love like the bigger quarterbacks, right? Like I like Drew Aller last year before he was an absolute shit show this season because he's, 6'4", 240, and, has a cannon of an arm. Like, that's what I like. Bro, this dude, 6'3", 230, rocket arm, accuracy issues, I guess. But, dude, if he were to come out in this past draft, I have no doubt he at least would have gone 13 to the Rams over Simpson. That was just, like, my eval on him just because of his, like, traits. I don't know how you feel about him, but that's something that like I'm going to be watching pretty closely.
I have no idea what's going to happen there. Like if the supplemental draft is like, it does kind of feel like, oh, the draft's over. We need a big storyline. Like let's just talk about this hypothetical, like in the big media kind of. But a part of me is just like, dude, like I feel like it's realistic. I mean, if the NCAA comes back and it's just like, no, you can't play. And he's just, kind of out of luck. Like, does he enter the? I have no idea.
What would you do? I think the only other thing you could do is sit out the entire year and then go to the draft. But like,
I don't think he would be NCAA eligible for the normal draft. I'm not sure how that works. If the next year he would get reinstated.
Well, no, like I could, declare for the draft tomorrow. I think it doesn't have anything to do with the NCAA. Like I hypothetically could go.
Well, I think you need 3. You have to be like 3 years removed from high school or something. With man, I don't know the exact because it's like Stigers was drafted out of the CFL.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
So he could go to the CFL, hypothetically.
I guess he could. Yeah.
Dude, that would be one of the we've never seen that. I don't know.
Dude, you know what's funny? Just on it, just quick quick little thought. So literally yesterday I was bored. I had something to do. I had like 20 minutes to kill, and I was flipping through the channels. I saw it was like a rerun of the CFL draft. I'm like, dude, I wonder who's in the CFL. I was looking at the rosters. Dude, you remember Chad Kelly?
Yeah,
from
Kelly. From
he plays for Toronto, and he's like pretty damn good, like really good. He's like one of the faces of CFL. I'm like, man, that's crazy.
Swag Kelly, dude. You know who actually made a killing over there was Lorenzo Malden, I think.
Did he? Okay.
I think he was like the defensive player of the year multiple times over in the CFL. I had high hopes for him too, but that's a different story. But I liked him. Yeah, he had like 4 sacks that one year, and he had the cool looking dreads, and I was like, oh, this is our edge rusher in the future. But
he seemed like a good dude too, man. I was pulling for him, but
I know he had a good story. But yeah, I don't know. I would personally, on the Sorsby thing, I think I would pull the trigger on a 3rd. I think I would do it. And dude, I would consider a 2nd. I don't know if that's crazy. I don't know how good we're gonna be, but dude, if hypothetically, if you give up like a 2027 2nd for him, and he ends up sitting a year and he ends up being your franchise quarterback, or even you just go into 2027, and if you're not positioned to get a quarterback, you just sit there, make your 3 first-round picks, let it ride with Sorsby, and say, I mean, shit, dude, he's either going to be like, if he's even a little bit good in this offense, like, I don't know, unless he's Zach Wilson with these weapons, like you can't. It's almost like you can't fail in this offense with this amount of weapons. I don't know. I might be talking like a maniac here.
Sounds like it to me. You're speaking a little bit crazy right now,
dude. I mean, listen, there's a first round talent sitting there, and you can get him right now. Maybe he'll get suspended. I don't know, for a 2nd round pick next year. It's an interesting gamble. No pun intended.
Albert Breer put out an article with like tons of quotes from different execs around the league, hyping him up. But while you were talking in the background here, I pulled up the list of picks for next season. So we have the 3 firsts, we have 1 second, 1 third, 1 fourth, 1 fifth, 3 sixth. And so overall we have 10 picks. So we do have extra picks.
Yeah.
So, if there is a team out there to throw, or put whatever a higher bid in, I guess it would be the Jets.
Cardinals, maybe.
Yeah. Well, they did just go with Beck, but I'm not sure, man.
If I'm Woody Johnson, I'm calling Mike Tomlin, seeing if he likes Sorsby, so we can get out of that. Just thinking 2 steps ahead a little bit.
Well, if we want Tomlin, we have to trade more picks.
It's true.
Oh,
that's a good point.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, it's interesting, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. He absolutely fucked himself. He probably, he was 1 good year away from being like a top 10 pick in, the normal draft. But I don't know. And my whole thing, like I got a bunch of backlash saying like I would do it online, saying, oh, why would you give like a degenerate gambler? Okay, I have 2 points. I know multiple people that have done the same thing. Obviously not as good as Sorsby, but like they were clowning around, gambling. I'm not going to rat anybody out, but like I know it happens a lot. And, he unfortunately just got caught. Betting on your own team is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. But I guarantee you he never ends up doing it again. Like he screwed himself so bad. I guarantee you he deletes DraftKings and FanDuel and all that stuff. I wouldn't be worrying about it. But that's just me. I'm in. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but it's worth the conversation.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a deadline for the supplemental draft. I don't know if that would be like, end of May, or if it could happen in the summer, like during training. Like I have no idea like what the actual, like if there's a hard deadline with it. But yeah, we'll see.
What's your overall feeling on Aaron Glenn? Do you feel like he like gunned your head right now? Is he going to be the coach here next year? And how do you see the season progressing? And if he does get fired, do you feel like Muji is the one who gets like the second chance almost?
Yeah, man. Dude, that's a big question.
We're,
So,
we're testing your optimism here. Let's see it.
oh yeah, 14 wins. No, it's tough. I mean, personally, man, I'm pulling for Glenn. I feel like there's a lot of people that, and I don't know where you guys stand exactly with him, but I mean, dude, he's the coach of the Jets. He's a former Jet. He's a former player. I don't want to see this team lose. I mean, we were talking about it before. We've seen it's been a decade since we've been 500. So I'm not entering the season saying whatever. Let's tank for Arch Manning, tank for Dante Moore. No, like I'm trying to win games. And so I mean, I'm pulling for AG. Does it happen? I'm not sure. But I do feel like with the additions, Demario, Minka, like we added some quality players, all these new, draft picks. I I feel like if Gino, barring any sort of injuries with the team, like major injuries, if Gino can just be kind of a point guard, like I mean, bro, like so we won three, so we won 3 games last season, right? But we had Carolina, Denver, Pittsburgh all on the ropes, and we tanked in December. So I'm like, I mean, I haven't seen the schedule, or like the actual layout of the games, but I'm hoping for 7, man. I hope that Glenn doesn't get fired, but if he does, I think there's a lot of good coaches out there. Like Sean McDermott's out there. Does Mike McDaniel maybe want to? I could see him having a good season with the Chargers as OC and like kind of jumping back into the pool. You mentioned before Tomlin, so I'm not sure, man. I think Glenn's gonna stay though. Would be my guess.
So what's like I think 7 is the line. Like if it's a convincing 7, like I think you keep him, and it's so tough, dude. You're literally handing like whoever the coach is next year, you are handing them like the keys to a legitimate like draft pick kingdom. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this is legitimately the most important draft I think in the past decade for the Jets. You need a quarterback. You're having 3 first-round picks. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Um, I would need like a very convincing 7, and if not, I would need like 8. And again, like 8 would be massive progress. You'd be like, okay, you're doing the Lions. So you go 3, 8, and then you win 12 with 3 first-round picks and a quarterback or whatever, however you want to handle that situation. But if they do 7, it needs to be like, all right, they got 7 and they like could have won 10, but they kind of got screwed and it was a tough schedule or something like that. Well, like you said, man, like I do want to say I'm rooting for Aaron Glenn like hell. Like I just would feel like bad. It would feel different. Like if they fire him and it wouldn't be like, oh, we fired Salah, who had no connections to the team. They fired Gase. We wanted him out of here anyway. It would be like, fuck, like he really wanted it to work and it didn't, and that sucks. There's this huge part of the fan base that is like really rooting like against him, which I think is like the craziest thing ever. I don't know if you ever run into that on your side of like the internet. It's all over my feed, unfortunately. You have like half of like optimists where I think like we fall, and then half of oh, I don't want to win a single game. I hope they trade Will McDonald, and I hope they trade like good players. I'm like, why? Why are we trading Will McDonald, dude? It makes no sense. So I don't know, man. I'm really pulling for the guy, and I'm right there with you. I think I just need that dude. I think that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't have the confidence to say like he is the guy moving forward, and like we shouldn't be worried at all with it. I mean, there is a chance that it does go south and he's fired.
Yeah, he could win 4 games, dude. It's very possible.
But dude, one thing that I feel like for some reason it kind of felt like when Salah was fired and Hackett and the whole Ulbrich, Rodgers, JD disaster, like once that was over and Glenn took over, like in my mind I was kind of thinking like, okay, this is a clean slate, fresh start. We're not going to be all that good. We're going to have a lot of turnover. We're going to have a new quarterback, new head coach, obviously new front office. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of change. So I'm not really expect. I mean, we won what 5 games that last season with a healthy Rodgers. So it's like in my mind, I wasn't thinking, okay, we're gonna go from 5 and have all these changes, all these new quarterback again, new coaches to 8-9 wins. I felt like we were gonna take a step back before we got better, and not trying to excuse a 3-win season. I mean, that's it's pitiful. We should have won more than 3 games, but I feel like it's a little like disingenuous to like look at the Jets and say like, oh well, we had Rodgers and we had Devontae Adams and Garrett was out there healthy and we were this great team, and then Glenn came in and ruined everything and he sucks and needs to go. So it's like I don't need like we could have hired take your like if Liam Cohen was the Jets head coach this past season, like would he have gotten to 7 wins? Like probably not. Like I don't know, man. So I have my fingers crossed. I'm pulling for him. I'm not at that 100% confidence. I don't know how anybody could just say like for sure he's the guy, but I think for me it's just as a fan I want to see this team do well, which means him turning this team around.
Yeah, and you made a really good point with like what were people expecting? I don't know. I was a maniac. I was like, they have a good offensive line. Fields is going to rejuvenate his career and all this stuff. Fields can't throw a fucking 10-yard out. Like that was it. Like you're not winning 8 games with a quarterback that can't physically throw the ball forward. And we'll wrap it up here soon. What are your expectations for Geno Smith and the offense as a whole? Because I mean, dude, at the end of the day, like, Geno is what he is, but it's a little nostalgic. I like bringing him in and, he can move the ball. Exactly like you said, he's a point guard. What are your expectations like stat wise, and how much different do you think this offense is going to look?
Yeah, I mean, I still want to. Well, I guess I'll start with saying like I want this team to just be normal. Like I want I want to not be the laughing stock.
Put that on a shirt, like, dude.
Bro. Like if I wear a Jet hat or a Jet shirt out, if I get a comment about it, it's typically like, oh, it must be tough being a Jet fan, something like that. Like, can we get to the point where it's just like, oh, you're a Jet fan, like, they have a good team or something. Like, bro, I remember. Growing up, like watching Chad Pennington and, granted we weren't winning championships and stuff, but it's just like, we were normal. Like it was just like a normal franchise, normal team. They didn't like humiliate themselves and stuff. I want to get to that point first. So that's kind of my goal of the offense, but I still want to run the ball. I still want to feed the running backs. And then from that point, it's just like with Cooper and Sadiq, with Garrett and Mason, and I'm assuming that Parham is just kind of like, the same type of player that John Simpson is, and we don't have issues on the offensive line. I think Geno is unquestionably better than Justin Fields, like from a throwing standpoint, from a smart standpoint, like being able to drop back, hit open passes. If there's an open check down, Geno can just hit it, or open slant, Geno can like, boom, it's easy for him. Where like last season with Fields, it was rough. He's just sitting there. He's not throwing the ball. But, with our luck, he's probably going to be a beast for Kansas City.
Don't say that, dude. Don't even joke about it. I can't take it.
Yeah, I mean, so I still want to be kind of that grounded pound offense and take some of the pressure off of Geno. But when he does throw, it's just like we can really get creative with who we want to throw to, how we want to set these guys up. I mean, just think about like the different alignments, like Sadiq can basically play anywhere, outside, inside, line up in line. There were moments where he lined up as a fullback for Oregon. Garrett can play on the outside or the inside. AD, I'm hoping, can stretch the field and get some one-on-one matchups. We'll see how it goes. I mean, Frank hasn't been in the NFL, but I like how he was in college this past season. Yeah. So I'm hoping that, he's not like completely out of the loop. And I also don't think that the Jets would have, hired him and given him all this power if they just didn't really like what they heard.
Handing him the keys to the team, I guess.
Handing him the keys with 1 foot out the door for retirement. But it's all right. Ian, why don't you plug your socials, just because we're going to post this on our normal feed and stuff, and just let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks again for having me. This was a lot of fun. I don't
Yeah.
know how this was like almost 40 minutes. Like this feels
Insane.
like
I
it felt like it was
looked up.
5,
I
10
was like,
minutes.
dude, way too much of your time. My bad.
Yeah.
No, dude. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, run a YouTube channel called Jet Central, covering all things Jets.
Cool.
Hell yeah. And we'll throw this at the beginning too. We'll make sure to get you out there. Dude.
Sick, man.
As if you need it from us, bro. We're talking about 50,000
Yeah.
followers or whatever.
No.
40,
It's
40,
always
whatever.
fun, man. I could talk about this team all day. This was a lot of fun. We should do it again.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Thanks everyone for listening. Appreciate you.